Good morning, evening, or afternoon, whichever one's going on for you at this current point in time. Today, we are talking about the chamfering or deburring tool from Debialo. Debialo, right? And this is supposed to be directly competing with Reed. Now, if you've looked at Reed's tool, this looks suspiciously familiar. Somebody needs to file a patent very soon, or we're going to have some copyright issues in the near future. Now, what does this do? It looks like somebody's really complicated doorbell, maybe some really, RoboCop's body cam, something like that. Looks very complicated, but I assure you, as scary as it has one job and one job only, and that is chamfering, PVC, CPVC, PP, and ABS. Now, I don't have the other pipes because that's not really what I work with at the moment, but 2-inch ABS is, like I said in my water maintenance video and ABS repairing video, this is what I'm using mainly. So right here we have all those ridges, and these spaces are the guides or the radial points or curves for you to fit your pipe. So for example, this is the zone for 2-inch. So you have in this circle is the lowest, which is 1.25 inches. And if you ever forget what this does, there is a guide. However, it would have been really nice to see an actual laser engraving of each size in here. Just a side note. So for the sizes, we have 1.25 inches, 1.5 inches, 2-inch, 2.5 inch, 3-inch, and 4-inch. So just in case you ever forget, reference the sticker. Now that big square you see in the back, that is for a ratchet. Not a 1/4 inch, not a 3/8 inch, but 1/2 inch drive. So if you have issues and the mounting points for you to give it tension are not enough, especially with the bigger, harder plastic, got your 1/2 inch drive in there, lock it in, and do your thing. Sound good? Now this tool is supposed to be rated for 3/32 of an inch off the edge, and it's going to give you a 15-degree angle. Now, I am guilty of doing it off camera because I wanted to make sure I didn't get a defective one before I made this video, but if you look very closely, zoom in action, you'll see that shiny silver looking edge is just a reflection of light, but it does work, right? And if you hold it sideways against my hand, you're able to see that there is a bit of an angle. So let me get closer to the camera and then zoom in action. You should see that edge has a 15-degree angle on it, which is nice. However, I did notice something, and I just want to make it very clear because there's absolutely zero videos on YouTube regarding this particular tool. The Reed one, they have videos for the Reed, but for Debialo, nothing. So if you look right here, I noticed there's about 1 inch of the pipe that is not receiving a cut at all. So right here, if you look from here to here, so there's about 1 inch of the line that for whatever reason just refuses to be chamfered. I don't know if what's wrong, because if you look at the actual blade inside or on top, there's no issues, there's no gaps, there's no anything. And before anybody says, well, maybe you're just not pushing it in hard enough, giggity, I assure you, you're supposed to sit there right against the curve, press in against the surface. Again, it is flush. There's no gimmicks here, and you twist, and there's supposed to be shavings coming out. Again, this thing is deburred or chamfered as much as it goes. There's nothing else coming out, right? Nothing. And if you look, it is still 1 inch that just refuses to be cut. On the other side, for whatever reason, it's zoom in action. It's like 3/32 of an inch, and then it kind of sinks into 2/32 of an inch, and then it comes back down. It's just a weird, inconsistent cut. So what I'm gonna do is grab my pipe shear, cut this in half as evenly as I can, and then do it again, give it 2 more chances. Right now we are on strike 2, but I want to see if it's maybe a user error, because otherwise this thing is just built well. It's like, it's all metal, which I absolutely love. The only thing that's not metal on this thing is the damn sticker. So, you know, nice metal, hard, you know, solid tools is what you want in your bag. Now, just in case you don't believe me, as far as the 3/30 seconds, all you have to do with a caliper, because mine does fractions as well, zoom in action, you can see right there 3/30 seconds of an inch. So all you have to do is take the pipe, go right up to it, and confirm 3/30 seconds of an inch. So from the edge, you can see 3/30 seconds is confirmed. But then you look here, it goes like, kind of sinks down to 2/30 seconds. And then it's back to 3. So it's some weird inconsistency. I don't know if it's the pipe or the way it's cut. So we're gonna give it another chance. So far, little apprehensive about this. But again, the Reed, or the name brand plumbing company, sells theirs for around 80 bucks. This right now is on sale for like $48 and some change. Let's round it up to 50. So should you be saving the 30 bucks and grabbing this, or should you just pay the 80 for the other one, or should you just grab a file and do it for free? Honestly, I'm not biased here. I don't care. I like tools like this that make the chamfering process just very like modular, instead of sitting there with an angle grinder or a file. So let's do it. Let me go grab an M12 battery. Okie dokie, we have our battery. Battery in. Cool. Make our cut. Okay. So look for the curve. The only one that fits is 2-inch. Nice and flush. Let me turn the light on. We have our cut. So giving it the benefit of the doubt, I gave it a couple of extra spins just in case. We can see that it is making its cut. Yeah, so it is making its cut. My concern here is it feels like it's deeper cuts in one spot and more shallow cuts in other spots. So it is still taking off material. So it's kind of, you have to put more pressure on it. But as far as the measurements go, I mean, it is holding at 3/30 seconds. And if you look sideways, they are showing that they are at a tapered angle on the edge. So this is kind of a hit or miss. I mean, as a non-professional, non-plumber individual who does his own plumbing, this is something that I want to work. This is me hoping against hope that this thing is doing its job. Let's give it one more chance with this second piece. Again, this is the chamfer side. This is the fresh piece. What I like also is that there is a bit of a bend in between this plate. So this flexes backwards slightly to really capture whatever pipe. So You know, not a crazy grip, so don't go shaking it, but, you know, it is something to keep in mind. It does kind of lock onto the pipe a little. Not very well, though, as you can see. So it's cutting, it's doing its thing. Don't imagine why you would have to do this 40 times, though. Right? We got our confetti. Yeah, so as far as the 330 seconds, it's kind of hit or miss between 330 seconds and 230 seconds. Nothing crazy, but it is holding that 15-degree edge, which is nice. Let's grab a coupler. So as far as the fit, it seems like easier. Obviously, getting it right to that point with the insertion depth is nice. Now the whole point of a chamfer, in case you didn't know, is because in there you want to make sure when you're putting in your cement or your glue that there is a little bit of an edge that allows material not to press that glue into the pipe, but rather let the adhesive make its way around the perimeter of the pipe and stay there, so it can correctly melt itself and adhere the two pieces into that beautiful joint that's going to sit there for years. So if you do that wrong, or if you forget to make that chamfer, guess what? You scrape out all the glue and you might with time notice leaks. I want to make it 100% clear. After a while of testing it, different pieces, getting more ABS, I'm finding that you really have to make sure your cuts are like super even, perfect square like this to be able to get a decent chamfer. Otherwise, it's not going to work whatsoever. Again, I was cranking a lot. It says you only need one rotation because of how sharp it is, and it should be done. So within one roll, we should get a nice consistent focus U. We should get a nice consistent little bevel or little chamfer, which we do. Now, whether or not this is consistent enough to be, worth your money is up to you. How often are you chamfering? Let me know if this is kind of worth it to you. For me, I'm kind of on the fence. I know that there are cheaper ones, and I know there are, of course, more expensive ones, but this is kind of in the middle ground, so I wanted to get something that was pretty hardy, and, the proof is in the pudding. If you just grab any random little piece like this, you should be getting consistent results. 330 seconds, all 15 degrees, so it is doing its job. The question is, how straight are your cuts? If your cuts are not damn perfect, then this is going to reward you with skipping certain spots, and in certain spots going shorter in length from that taper than the 330 seconds. It'll go to 230 seconds or a 1/16 of an inch. Okay, upon further fiddling and cutting, taking off the blade and moving it back slightly, it's also reversible, so I flipped it, was able to give me a slightly more consistent cut. For whatever reason in the world, I'm still unable to get that one piece that just has that inch that does not want to go. So as far as what it does, it does what it's supposed to do. Is it the best? I would assume not. Again, if you look at the pipe, it is making on every side on, that 330 seconds. For the most part, it's doing it. Again, maybe if it's an irregularity with the pipe, but there's about an inch right here that's just not cutting. But a chamfer is still a chamfer, and the whole point is pay $48 for this or pay $80 for the reed. I have not used the reed for me to say whether or not that one's better or not. However, I'm pretty sure there's a lot of people that are hoping for things like this to work, to where you're spending almost half of what you would be spending for those more expensive options. So with that, let me know. Are you doing anything with plumbing? Is this something you absolutely need? Or do you prefer drill attachments? I know that this is low profile. I can get this in between two pipes. An application that I really wanted this to work for is because sometimes when you're trying to put a pipe together, you don't want to sit there and disconnect all the straps and angles so that you can properly manipulate the pipe. You can't get a drill with the attachment to clean or chamfer the pipe. So this thing is supposed to just kind of sneak in between those two joints, get your chamfer done, glue it up, and then stick it back together without having to fight with an impact gun and a drill, taking all the supports off of those joists or supports or studs or, wherever the anchors are. So that's my application. Let me know what you think, and I want to know what's going on in your head. With that being said, thank you so much for watching, and work smart.